Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's always so nice and refreshing to talk about something positive, something to talk about that I'm excited about, something that's so good. And it seems like as of right now, it's something that doesn't seem like at this point we're going to have to completely and totally rag and trash upon. And that always is a really good feeling because at the end of the day, boys and girls, no matter how much we complain, no matter how much we cry, no matter how much we get accused of being clickbait, and all we want to do is whine and cry about things, at the end of the day, we just want good stories back again, right? We want faithful adaptations of the lore and the IPs that we all grew up and knew and loved with. And one of those that we have out there is Harry Potter. Now, I probably, like many of you out there, grew up reading the books, or if you didn't, some of the first experiences were the Harry Potter movies. Now, I, as a fan of the books first and literally burned through all of them, I went to midnight releases to get a couple of them, or at least one of them that I remember in particular. Like, I was a huge Harry Potter fan for the books. I absolutely burned through all of them. I loved them. They were great. They were wonderful. I reread them. It's a really good time, right? I was one of those ones that was disappointed in the movies. I have a lot of legitimate criticisms against those movies. For one, they completely and totally screwed up Dumbledore's character in the fourth movie because Dumbledore never screams, he never yells, he's always in complete and total control in every situation he's in. Also, there's no Peeves. No Peeves, no peace. I'm sorry, he was a huge part of the Battle of Hogwarts, and he was not even in the movie except for like a slightly passing glance. Like, oh, look, that was Peeves right there in the background. He is supposed to be a major player in these entire books, not to mention all of the screwed up lines that were removed from Ron and were given to Hermione and a whole bunch of other complaints. So needless to say, I was excited when I heard about the HBO Max's series about a Harry Potter television show, because once again, those books are huge, especially into the later ones. And I think being able to expand it and create a weekly series, they can dig into those books a lot better and expand all that stuff out and make sure that Peeves is there. And of course, our dear sweet Dumbledore is actually Dumbledore himself. So that is one of the things that got me hopeful for this. I've seen some of the good turnarounds that have happened at Warner Brothers. I've seen a lot of house cleaning. So I'm actually a little bit more hopeful going forward with the kind of things they're producing. And ladies and gentlemen, we have some very exciting updates for the Harry Potter television series because they have finally found their showrunner and director. And we also have thoughts for from Her Majesty herself, the queen of the Harry Potter universe, J.K. Rowling, and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to get into today, boys and girls, because we had a wonderful article from over here from the Hollywood Reporter giving us all the juicy details, plus a little bit of background on both of these individuals. And then, like I said, we've got J.K. Rowling's thoughts as well, because she's already read the script and she's got some thoughts on things. So we're going to check out all this juicy information, give you all the details, and see exactly what is going on here. But before we do, whether you're watching live out there, because we always try to record these live, so make sure you catch our morning streams at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday Central Standard Time, or you're watching this on the replay, leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you think about all of it. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and or follow if you have not already. And let's get into it, boys and girls, because here we go. Harry Potter series at HBO finds its showrunner and director. Succession alums Francis Gardiner and Mark Mylod will lead the creative team for the show. Now, I've heard good things about Succession. I've never watched it, but I know it's a pretty big hit with the fans out there, so that at least gives me a little bit of hope. So HBO's long-developing Harry Potter series has locked in two key members of its creative team. The series is named Francesca Gardiner as a writer and showrunner and tapped Mark Mylod to direct multiple episodes. Both are Emmy winners for HBO's Succession, Gardiner as part of the show's producing team, and Mylod as both director and producer. Gardiner's credits as a writer-producer also include His Dark Materials at HBO, Killing Eve at BBC America, and The Rook at Starz. Now, I haven't watched any of those shows, but if any of you guys have, let me know what you think about those and if this feels like a good sign to you or not. Mylod has directed episodes of Game of Thrones. Depending on what episodes, this could potentially be good or bad. Depends on which episodes. There's a lot of episodes of Game of Thrones. The upcoming second season of The Last of Us for HBO. That hasn't come out yet. I know the first season, a lot of people seem to like it, except for a few things out there. I wasn't a Last of Us fan, so I don't know about that, but we'll see. The Menu, which I've heard really good things about. Showtime's Shameless, which I actually really enjoyed, and The Affair, because Showtime's Shameless was actually a series that was a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens with this, because this is obviously a very different tone from what some of those other series that they've worked on in the past. But once again, this is one of the nice parts about the Harry Potter franchise. J.K. Rowling, much like Oda with One Piece, has kind of a death grip on her IP, and she has to basically approve absolutely everything. And that was one of the major parts with this deal, which of course got a lot of the weirdos out there on the internet screaming who hate J.K. Rowling because she disagrees with them on simple basic biological facts, is one of the situations where they actually end up coming out there and they screamed and whined and cried because she was so involved. They wanted Warner Brothers and HBO to try to completely cut her out. Hey, boys and girls, I don't think you understand anything about how licensing agreements work. That was never, ever going to happen. So the Potter series was originally slated for Max, where it had been in development since 2021. As part of a strategy and branding shift for the streamer, it's Warner Bros. Discovery, sibling HBO. However, the series, along with the It prequel, Welcome to Derry, Just Ordered DC Studios Lanterns, will become HBO originals, meaning they will air on the cable channel as well as stream on Max, which honestly is probably a much better idea. You're going to get much better ad revenue share for that, as well as because all you're going to get your ad, you can be able to factor in your ad revenue to help pay for the show on your terrestrial channels, as well, which is included in all your cable stuff, as well as your streaming service, which of course is watched by a lot of the younger generation. So you're going to get a good mix of both on that kind of thing. So it's honestly just a much better financial idea in general for that kind of thing. So casting for the roles for all the original characters, starring the British action illuminators, will be announced later. A date for the show hasn't been set yet, although Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav said earlier this year he hit that they like a 2026 debut was the target. So that means hopefully we've only got like a year and a half to really wait till we got to start to see some more trailers and some more official announcements. It'll be curious to see who they end up casting for the actors on this kind of thing and how spot on, because they did a pretty good job for the most part, with the exception of obviously the lack of green eyes, which you could have just fixed with context, but maybe you didn't want to do that to kids. So I can kind of understand that kind of thing, because finding a brunette with green eyes who can act at the exact same time can be kind of difficult, but we'll see how this kind of goes going forward with those kind of things, because it was a very distinct characteristic for Harry Potter in the entire series. So Rowling will be an executive producer of the series, but isn't expected to have a day-to-day involvement. HBO has sidestepped commenting on Rowling's frequently caressed We talked a little bit about that as well. Gardiner and Mylod will executive produce the series along with Rowling and her Bronnet film and TV partners Neil Blair and Ruth Cantless and David Hemmett, who produced the movie franchise, Warner Brothers television series, and Bronte Film and TV will produce the show. So there we go. So now here's the real question. What does J.K. Rowling have to think about all of this? Well, we've got a tweet from her right here, because this is one of the things she said she's already read this and she's actually excited about this, which once again, even though I disagree with J.K. Rowling on 99.9% of things, most likely, if she's willing to protect her IP and she's willing to, and she's been talking about wanting a more faithful adaptation than the movies were, and she's excited about the television shows being able to expand that, I, for one, am willing to give credit where credit is due and at least wait to see and be cautiously optimistic about this, because like I said, I am one of those that was disappointed in the movies. I'm truly thrilled to announce our director and writer, both of whom I interviewed as part of the production team. So she literally talked to these people. She checked all these bubbles off. She approved of them. Both have a genuine passion for Harry Potter, and having read Francesca's pilot script and heard Mark's vision, I'm certain the TV show will more than live up to expectations. So that's what the queen of the Harry Potter universe has to say for herself. And it's in situations where I've always been one of those people, depending, as long as you stick by the source material, as long as you're trying to be faithful to an adaptation like you should be, I'm okay with these kind of things. I generally like the idea of the creator being actively involved, especially if it's someone that hasn't gone completely and totally insane and decided to try to break their own continuity and try to break their own lore in the past because of just, I don't know, a paycheck or identity politics, whatever this kind of nonsense is. And considering the kind of stuff that J.K. Rowling's been going through over the last few years, I got this kind of funny feeling she's not going to be all up and ante to just bow the knee to a lot of the cult ideology out there. So I'm hoping to see that this kind of thing ends up being good. I'm hoping to see this kind of story actually end up being done well. I'd like to see it much more expanded. I'd like to see it much more accurate to the books. I had a lot of issues right from the very first movie. I think my grandmother went and had me, took me to go see the movie. I literally was so disappointed in it. We never went and saw the other ones. I don't think I even saw Goblet, and I think I did see Goblet. I think I might have did see the rest of them all the way up to Goblet of Fire. I think Goblet of Fire when I was finally done with all those movies. So I'm hoping this adaptation goes well. J.K. Rowling approves of it. I like those kind of stuff that Warner Brothers Discovery has been doing under the Zaslav regime. So I hope it continues going forward, and I hope we get a good, faithful adaptation to Harry Potter, boys and girls, because Dumbledore never gets angry, and no peeves, no peace. Don't screw it up, Zaslav. Make the fans happy. We'll make you rich. Make us upset, and we'll watch you burn down to the ground.